What up, everybody? All right, we don't have anybody here just yet, so hopefully people start coming in. Here just yet, so hopefully people start coming in. All right, we got 2 viewers. We got 6. Hold on one second. I got to turn off the. All right, there we go. I just muted the other page. Somebody give me a thumbs up that the chat box is working, please. I need someone to type something in the chat box. All right. Bailey, Tanner, you said it's working. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to get down to business here with the giveaway here in the next 5 minutes or so. But just wanted to kind of explain like what happened last time. First off, the broadcast is obviously through Google Hangouts, but I created the event through Google Hangouts instead of through YouTube, and it caused this weird encoder to, I don't know, be different, and I wasn't able to enable the chat box even though the box was check marked on the advanced settings for the live stream, but it would not appear. So after doing a little bit of research, and I found that you have to create the live stream through YouTube, and then, you know, the chat box became available. So I don't know, kind of weird how that was. I don't know, technology. Sometimes it's just, it is what it is. All right, anyway, so let's get started with this thing. I will be doing a Q&A session as well after we do the giveaway, but so that way you guys can ask questions, and if you want to ask questions about me, get to know me about fishing, that's fine. I'll probably end this live stream around 10:30. I had originally planned this for 9 o'clock, but I just got back from fishing. I did the mystery tackle box slam. Well, it was pretty much a slam. If you guys don't know, the catfish mystery tackle boxes, it's a little weird. They put a lot of random tackle in there and only like 1 or 2 different baits to use. And typically speaking, the tackle they put in the box does not match the bait that is in it. You know, so for instance, this mystery tackle box for this month, they had Super J hooks by Team Catfish, which were 6/0, and they had a little, and for the bait, they had a little pellet scent bait. And you're not going to be using a big hook for those little pellets they put in there. So it's just kind of like the tackle doesn't really exactly match the bait they put in there, but we were able to catch fish. I do have a video coming out on that on Thursday, so that should be good. All right, let's do the giveaway. So here's how this works. You guys, I'm going to tilt this monitor screen down just a little bit so you can see. This is, these are all the names that were in here. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, so these are all the names right in here. If you commented your email address and your favorite video, then you are a part of this contest. If you didn't do those 2 things, then you weren't in the drawing. That's just how it is. Okay, so we had over 100 entries here. So here's what I'm gonna go. Here's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. I have a lid right here. I'm gonna put the lid there, and I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. And then let's draw the first one. The first winner will get the $50 Bass Pro Shops gift card. So here it is. The first winner. Okay. Outdoorsman 101. Outdoorsman 101. You are the first place winner for the giveaway, and you get the $50 Bass Pro Shops. Congratulations. Let's do the second one. The second winner is Fisher Dan Pro 23. Fisher Dan Pro 23. You are the second winner. Congratulations, and you'll get the American Spirit nightstick from the catfishconnection.com website. So you are the second winner. Congratulations. And for the third place winner, which will be the Chatt Cats Fishing decals, the winner is, I should do that again, make it fair for everybody. Third place is Hunter Martin. Hunter Martin, you are the third place winner. Congratulations, you'll get 2 Chatt Cats Fishing decals. I'll be sending that to you. So the 3 winners, Outdoorsman 101, Fisher Dan Pro 223, and then Hunter Martin. You are the 3 winners. Congratulations. I will be reaching out to you guys. And what I'll do is I'll send you guys an email so you can so I can send you your stuff. What will happen is, for like the Bass Pro Shops, I'll probably send you your gift card by email. I think Bass Pro Shops allows you to do that. And then for the second place winner, the catfish rod, I'll just buy it and send it to your address. And then for the third place, same thing. I'll have to get your mailing address, and I'll send you the Chatt Cats Fishing decals. And also the first and second place winners will also get the decals as well. So, but anyway, guys, thanks for being part of the contest. We had like over 100. So, and I'll be doing more as we kind of go through different milestones. So I really appreciate it. Anyway, all right, so let's do the Q&A session now. Now that we got the winners out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of go through this box here and see what we got. Let's see. Okay, a lot of you guys are, some of you guys are asking about fishing from the bank, like Mason, Gent, tips for bank cat fishing. You know, it's a good question. The big thing about bank fishing for catfish is fishing near down trees. So if you're fishing the river, try to fish near some rocks, any trees that are kind of overhanging where you're fishing. You can try casting in the middle of the river, but just action could be slow. I would actually try to focus on finding structure that's around you if you're going to be fishing from the bank. Any bank rod holders? Walmart has a couple. I don't know how good a quality they are. Typically, when I'm fishing from the bank for catfish, I keep my drag pretty loose because you don't know if it's going to be a big fish or not. So that's the big thing for me. But I think Steve Douglas with Monster Rod Holders has a fishing rod holder kind of like rack for fishing the bank. So maybe that would help you. Maybe you can check that out. Let's see. Fred Bowman, Odad. Let's see. Nathan Kunkel, what did you catch your PB catfish on? Caught him on Cup Bluegill. That's correct. let's see. Okay, my fishing poles have a widened end so they don't fit normal rod holders. You can just buy rod holders that kind of look like a T and have like a pointy tip at the very end that kind of sticks in the mud. I would just use that and just let your rod just sit kind of on the T, if you know what I'm saying. And like I said, keep your drag loose. Let's see. Orbital. Let's see. Orbital XS. I do remember you from Kings Island. Yes. Glad to have you on board here, man. Let's see. That's right. Trophy catfishing for life. I hear you. That's where it's at. Tips for summertime catfishing, Mason. Best thing to do is to fish in the morning or at night. You can fish during the day, but it's been so hot this summer. The action's been extremely slow. Your best bet is to fish in the morning around 5 a.m. to about, I don't know, 9, 10 when it starts to get really hot. And then at night, you can start around right around the twilight hour, right before it gets dark. Those are probably the best time to be fishing in the summertime. And the bait, you know, fine shad, I mean, I use skipjack. You can use bluegill. Pretty much use the bait fish, schooling fish, or any of the spiny fish like bluegill, shellcracker, and just use cut bait, and that should get some action for you. If that does not work, try something a little more simpler like night crawlers, okay? And if that doesn't work, try maybe a stink bait. I like using the Team Catfish Sudden Impact and Secret 7. I've had real great success using those in the summertime. And they work really well in the water. Because right now the water temp is like 85 degrees on the Tennessee River in Chattanooga. That's pretty darn warm. So do I hunt? I've never hunted before, actually. Not opposed to it. I would like to try. Just I guess I just haven't had that opportunity come up. So, have I ever fished downtown Nashville? I have not. I would like to though sometime. I don't go to Nashville very often, but that may be something to definitely try. I think it's the Cumberland River, if I'm not mistaken, that's out there. Let's see. Favorite fishing knot? I typically use 2 knots. The polymer knot is tied to the hook, and I use an improved clinch knot when I'm usually tying to a barrel swivel, or I mean, sometimes I'll use an improved clinch knot to the hook. But typically, when I'm going for bigger catfish, I use the polymer knot tied to a hook, and it's Carolina rigged, and then I use the improved clinch knot, you know, to tie my main line to one eye of the swivel. And then the other eye, which is my leader line, I have an improved clinch knot. And then it's going down to the hook, I use a polymer knot. So, Fred Bowman, you can't handle it. It's funny. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just type in the winners so people can quit asking me who are the winners. Let's see. First prize. Just 1 second, guys. Let's see. Second prize was Fisher Dan Pro 23. And then your third prize is Hunter Martin. There you go. All right. Let me go back up to where my comments were now. Let's see. Any luck with the MTB Catfish Slam? It went pretty good today. There was only one thing we could not use to get a catfish, and that was the Super J hooks, since they were pretty big for the type of bait we were using that was in that box. And that's what I'm saying about Mystery Tackle Box. I love Mystery Tackle Box, but the Catfish Box is kind of a new introduced box on the market, And what they've done is that they've thrown random tackle in there and just random baits. A lot of the baits they're putting in there are magic product baits. And a lot of them are stink baits, chicken livers, dead minnows that's sealed up. And so, but they put tackle in there that doesn't really best fit the bait you're supposed to be using. So, and that's something that I think they'll just have to kind of get better at over time. But the better answer your question, 95% it was a slam. Just that 5% couldn't really use those hooks. But I mean, you guys can watch the video that comes out on Thursday, and then you can decide. So let's see. Favorite time of year for big cats is the fall. I typically do really well in October. November does pretty good. Typically, the winter months can be really slow, but you can really catch a pig in the wintertime because a lot of the bigger blues are filled out and they're humongous. But typically, I catch a lot of fish in the 50s and 60-pound range in the months of October and November. Let's see. Bossman Jr., hello. Douglas Lake, that's on a bucket list for me to try Douglas Lake. I will definitely try going there sometime in the next couple months. Not too far for me. River Rat Outdoors, is it spawning over in your location? It's been a little slower to end this year because we didn't really have a spring. It pretty much went from winter to summer. And we really didn't have a spring, so the catfish kind of got on the spawn a little earlier, and most of them are now starting to come off. I have a video posted on my channel called Post-Spawn Catfish on the Tennessee River, something like that. I think it's like my 3rd to 4th newest video on my channel. You can go watch that. But it's pretty much over, yes. Let's see. Do chunks of bigger fish work as bait? Yes, they do. Just make sure you know your state's rules and regulations on what you can use as bait. But yeah, I mean, catfish are the top of the food chain. So really anything that's roaming the waters that you're fishing will work as bait. Why choose catfish? I think it's Elena, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize in advance. Why choose catfish? I like the fact that catfish can get very big and they're at the top of the food chain. So I kind of like having the go big or go home mentality. But that doesn't mean I don't like other sorts of fish. I love catching smallmouth bass. And I actually love catching bass on light tackle, like 4-pound, 6-pound test line. I'll do that usually below the dam if I'm fishing. So, I mean, I'm starting to branch out and kind of go for other, sorts of fish, but catfish is definitely my favorite for sure. Are the mystery tackle boxes worth it? That's a great question. I think it's all about your expectation. Okay. If you're wanting to catch like any sized catfish eaters, then yeah, I'd say you can try it out. But if you're wanting to go for like a 50-pounder, I wouldn't go with the mystery tackle box if you're trying to get a 50-pounder. Just the products they have in there won't catch you fish that are really big. I mean, the stuff they put in there is primarily geared towards channel catfish, since a lot of it is like dough baits, stink baits, punch baits, all that stuff. So, but if your goal is to catch a fish, then yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it. So, hope that better answers your question. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I know you guys got a lot of questions, and that's great. I'm just trying to. Any good places to fish near Ewing, Trenton, New Jersey? I have no idea. There's a website you can go to called navionics.com. It's a web app where you can pretty much look at the contour lines of your river system, and that should probably give you an idea of where you would need to go to fish. Let's see here. Do I ever eat the catfish I eat? I do not. Doesn't mean I won't. If I am going to bring catfish home to eat, it has to be under 10 pounds. Over 10 pounds, I release them back in the water. But primarily, I'm a CPR fisherman, catch, photo, release. Let's see. Like I've said, never fished the Nashville area. Okay. Endomitis, I think I'm saying that right, I hope. There are a lot of cat fishermen that use 30-pound mono and have been fished over 100 pounds caught with 30-pound line, but I feel like 50-pound mono could save you a heartache on a fish of a lifetime. Okay, I use 50-pound main line on my reels with an 80-pound leader line, but that's because I'm fishing, usually I'm fishing primarily on the river, and if you have a heavy current, it's going to be good that you kind of have a heavier line, because pulling a fish against a heavy current is like, you're fighting the fish's weight and then the weight of the current as well. So that can be pretty difficult. I mean, there's times I've had to pull up anchor to chase down a fish because it was so big and I couldn't get the fish near the boat to land just because the current was so strong. So I agree with you. I use 50-pound mono, but everybody kind of has their own preference. There's different schools of thought, I guess, on what should be on your main line. The good thing about using 30-pound line is that you'll be able to put more line on that reel probably, whereas 50 you won't be able to use as much. So like I said, different schools of thought on that, but I use 50-pound on my main line. What fish do you think put up the most fight? I think smallmouth bass put up a very good fight. And that all depends on also your tackle. If you have 4-pound test line and you have a 50-pound blue, well then yeah, that's going to be a fight. That'll probably take you a couple hours. But if you have a 6-pound smallmouth bass with, I don't know, 15-pound braid or something, then yeah, I mean it'll be a good fight, but it's not going to nearly take you as long as a blue cat would on 4-pound test line. But pound for pound, I'd say smallmouth bass for freshwater. And obviously people can disagree with that too, and that's fine. We want to do another giveaway. Great question. I am going to be doing one for 10,000. And then the 10,000, when I hit 10,000 subs, which I hope will be by the end of this year, I'm going to be doing a bigger giveaway. I'll probably do a $100 gift card for Bass Pro Shops or somewhere. Give a rod reel combo, all that great stuff. When I hit 1 million views on the channel, which I think I'm getting close to 500,000. When I get 1 million views on the channel, I'll do a giveaway for that too. And I may do random acts of kindness as well. So we'll see. Let's see. When do catfish start spawning? They start spawning usually late May, early June, and it usually ends around July. What made you start fishing? My grandfather showed me how to fish, and it's been with me ever since. What's a goal for you to accomplish? Let's see. For fishing, it's just really I kind of keep my goals pretty basic, just to catch a fish every time I go out. Try to fish a new spot and catch a fish in a new spot. Like those are goals I really try to set for myself. Sometimes I can be very routine based when I fish. I usually hit my typical holes. But I guess a good goal to have would be to fish a new spot and catch a big fish there. That way I have other spots that I can, work with and go to. So that's a great question. And that's a good goal too. What's the best weather to catfish in? Anytime. Anytime. I fish in the rain, a little bit in the snow, but don't go out when it's lightning, obviously. But really anytime in that. Of course, heat of the day can be tough too, but you just never know. That's why they call it fishing, So have you ever considered saltwater? I have saltwater fish before. I have a couple videos out on the channel. One of them is catching sharks at night. Other one is catching black sea bass at a fishing pier. So go check those out. So yeah. Hunter West, Odad. Let's see. I am 29 years old. I'll be 30 in September. Had to think about that one for a second. As you kind of get older, you kind of forget whose birthday's who when you have so many people to think about. Man, this Odad comment, I tell you, I'll have to tell you the story behind Odad at some point. Okay, there's a story to that. Favorite lure and bait. I don't know. Favorite lure. I don't really know because I don't fish with lures a whole lot. But if I'm bass fishing, I like any top water lure for bass fishing. I love seeing a bass break the surface. There's just nothing like it. And bait for catfish is skipjack. Let's see. RJ, what's up, dog? When did I start catfishing? I started taking it more seriously about 3 years ago when I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. When me and my wife, we got married, we moved to Chattanooga, and that's when I really started to catfish a little more seriously. Davis Kelly, 2 weeks till school. Don't say that. Let's see here. Favorite type of catfish to catch? Outdoorsman 101. By the way, you were the first place winner, I think. Yes. Good job. Your question is, what is your favorite type of catfish to catch? Flathead catfish is my favorite. Let's see. Let's see. Trying to see another good question here. I should make a video on how to catch daytime flathead catfish. Yeah, I really should, and there's a lot of patience that goes into that. Catching flatheads during the day is really good to do in the spring and a little bit in the fall, but mostly in the spring is when it's probably best to do a daytime flathead episode because they've pretty much been hibernating most of the winter, and when spring rolls around, the water temp starts to increase, the flatheads get more active. But yeah, I can do that next spring for sure. Biggest fish ever caught, 90 pounds. That was the blue catfish this past January. What place would you love to go to catfish? Oh, that's a great question. I don't know, maybe the Mekong River would be good. I like to catch a Wells catfish sometime. I think catching a red tail catfish would be fun to do. So I guess I'd probably say the Mekong. That would be pretty good. Let's see. What do I do for a living? I am a high school teacher and a high school wrestling coach. Signal Mountain Middle High School. Go Eagles! Giving a shout out to all my boys that are watching out there. Let's see. Any sponsors? No, not really. Not really in it for the sponsors as much. I mean, Mystery Tackle Box sends me a box for free every month, but other than that, I don't get sponsored by anybody. Biggest bass I've caught, I think it's like 6 pounds. It was a smallmouth bass. Actually, I think that was with One Rod, One Reel Fishing and Extreme Philly Fishing when we did that collaboration together back in March. So go check out that video if you haven't seen it yet. Like I said, my job is high school teacher, wrestling coach, and obviously I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have 2 daughters. Kaylee, she's 3 years old, and Adeline, she was born in January, so like 7 months. So I have to think about that one for a second. If I ever come to Kansas, there are Moshka. Yep. Monica, I hear you. I know Kansas definitely has some big fish there for sure. I see a lot of reports from people pulling some pigs out. Let's see. Is it catfish that will go after bread balled up on a hook? Yeah, catfish will hit bread. I've caught catfish on bread before. But you may also get a carp too. So, and carp, I'll put up a really great fight. Let's see. Will I ever come to California? I've been to California before. I've been to San Diego. Will I ever come? Maybe one of these days. We'll see if there's an opportunity that comes up. Let's see. Do you think if the Tennessee, this is Indomitus fishing, do you think if the Tennessee River and Tennessee and Alabama continue to have laws protecting the big catfish there, will be catfish that reach over the 150-pound mark? It's possible. The big thing about, the big trophy catfishing game is the commercial fishermen that are out there. So, I hear reports about commercial fishermen using trot lines and commercial gill nets and all that stuff, catching big fish over 100 pounds. I mean, I think it's possible. I think if we were going to do something like that to really kind of reduce the commercial fishing in that river, we would have to probably get like a petition going. Then you got to talk to the senator and that'd be great to do. I definitely think it's possible to reach the 150-pound mark. I know in North Carolina, Zach Royce, Lake Gadsden, I mean, he broke the state record in 24 hours. Then I think a kid recently broke his record. I think it was like a few weeks ago, 114 pounds. And if I'm not mistaken, the world record for a blue catfish is 140 pounds, and that was caught in Bugs Island, Carr Lake. which, you know, is in Virginia. So, favorite saltwater fish? It's a great question. I do love sharks, and that's just more my personality. I love the predator fishing. Predator fishing is like awesome. Okay. People say sharks don't fight. I mean, they fight. It's a different type of fight. They have more of a pull. But as far as a favorite fish, I don't know. I have to think about that one because I haven't done a whole lot of saltwater fishing to really determine what my favorite saltwater fish is. So, Tyler, Instagram is Chatt Cats Fishing. Go check it out. Let's see. Danny Cow, yeah, we can do a collab sometime. Not a problem. Catch skipjack in the summer. Skipjack can be kind of hard to catch in the summertime. If you're going to catch them, you want to catch them around evening or early morning. And I don't know, skipjack are kind of hit or miss, really. Like, you know, we had a really good skipjack turnout below Chickamauga Dam in the spring and a little bit in the summertime. But you know, as far as times, I would say in the morning, but it's really better at night around the twilight time. And try to fish below a dam, and you should be able to see them jumping out of the water. And that's when you know it's a great time to catch one. Let's see. Can you bank fish with no weights? Yeah, if your bait's heavier enough to get to the bottom. Yeah, you can certainly do that. But I think it's better to bank fish. If you're bank fishing for catfish, I think it's better to have some sort of weight there, since catfishing is primarily you're primarily fishing on bottom. So, but some people will free line their weight if they're fishing below the dam while they're on a boat, and you can cast into turbines or something. I've done that before where I've used no weights and I've used cut skipjack, a chunk, cast in the turbines, and I've caught in some fish in there. Nothing big, but 5-10 pounds, but you know, that works. But if you're fishing from the bank, I would use some sort of sinker, unless you have a big cut bait on that can get on the bottom. So, what is the hardest part about having a popular YouTube channel? I don't know. I don't really think of this channel is strictly popular. I mean, I do have over 5,000 subscribers, which is great. But I think the hardest part really is just, you know, having the time to commit to it. You know, I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, you know, so it's like every time I go out, you know, my time is limited, you know, so, and I've had a lot more time this summer to fish because I'm out of school. I'm not teaching, but once school starts back up, that's when things get really tough as far as trying to have time to fish. And then when wrestling season starts up, then it's like, oh gosh, I got to really, you know, it just gets really hard. I mean, right now I'm posting 2 videos a week. So I really hope I can continue to do that, but I may have to reduce to 1 video a week if things get really tough for me. But as of right now, things are going great, and I already have videos done that I can put out at a later time, really. So, so yeah, I think the big thing is just committing to it, really, and having the time to do it. Let's see. Best river bait for cats. That just really depends on what's in your river, okay? Usually shad does really well, skipjack, perch, carp, you know, so really I just ask the locals, what are they using, you know? I mean, every river is kind of different in its own way. It's like each river kind of has their own personality, really. And I mean, the Tennessee River is a pretty big river. So if you're fishing like a small river like the Dan River, I fished the Dan River a couple nights ago and we caught a 15-pound blue cat. That's a safe estimate. It may have been a little bigger, but I was only fishing like in 5 to 8 feet of water. And that's totally different than what I'm used to fishing. Usually in the Tennessee River, I'm usually targeting deeper holes. And I'm usually fishing like 25, 30 feet of water. So it really just depends. But as far as best bait, I mean, really anything that's in your river will probably work. Bass will even work. Okay. It just depends on also the type of catfish you have in your rivers. If you have mostly flatheads, then yeah, they're like they look for the big meal to come by. So they can eat a bass, a carp. You know, they're very ambitious fish, and that's why flatheads are really fun to catch, because they're looking for that one good meal, okay, that will satisfy them. Whereas the blue cats are constantly roaming up and down the river. They eat anything dead, really. So Pennsylvania wrestling is the best. I actually wrestled in Ohio, so I wrestled in the state of Ohio. Went to the state tournament. So Pennsylvania has some great wrestling, though. Penn State's really good. So yeah, I hear you on that one, Tyler. Let's see. Ever fished Gunnersville Dam? I have not fished Gunnersville Dam, but I have fished on Gunnersville Lake. Let's see. My main catfish bait, Michael, is cut skipjack. Let's see. What's your opinion on braided line for trophy catfishing? I don't really like braided line too much. I'll just be honest with you. I use braided line if I am bouncing my bait on the bottom. Okay. So if I have like a 3-way rig setup going, I'll have some braided line on that. And the reason why that is because I feel like I can control my bait and where I'm bouncing my bait on the bottom a little bit better. I don't know. It's just kind of a feel thing, I guess, for me in that. But if I'm anchor fishing, I go with monofilament. But people differ on what they think is best. Braided line doesn't stretch. Monofilament will stretch, and that's why I seem to do better with hookup ratios using monofilament line. So I believe monofilament line is better to use for trophy catfishing. But like I said, there's different schools of thought on that. I think Steve Douglas, I did a collaboration with him. He uses braided line for his main line, and then he'll use a monofilament leader line. So it's just, people kind of have their own, they're kind of set in their own way, I guess, when it comes to fishing. So, but personally, I prefer monofilament. I'll use braided line if I am 3-way bouncing my bait on the bottom. Let's see. Oh, Jackson. Jackson Boffenkamp. Hope I said that right. Have you ever tried a live goldfish? 2 nights ago, I was fishing the Dan River in Virginia, and we caught a flathead, 2 blues, and some channel cats using live goldfish. Actually, the channel catfish hit the stink bait, but the flathead and the 2 blues hit the live goldfish. So yes, I have tried it. I have an episode coming out on that. It'll probably come out next Sunday. So yeah, next Sunday. That's a great question. Tyler, your PB's 37, 15-pound channel cat. That's a great fish. I think pound for pound, channel catfish probably fight the hardest, honestly speaking. But they just don't get very big, at least down here. Unless you're fishing like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Canada, channel cats get pretty big up there. So stink bait or cut bait? Cut bait 100%. Okay, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like stink bait, but cut bait is 10 times better to use than stink bait. Stink bait may give you more of immediate hits or strikes, and the action can be maybe a little more consistent, but I haven't really had success catching big fish on stink bait. Maybe, I mean, I know the Secret 7 Team Catfish stink bait has caught some big channels by people, I'm sure, but I think cut bait is a better way to go, just in my personal opinion. What pound test do you set your reels at strike? 5 pound or 7 pounds? That's a great question. I'm not really sure how to answer that. Let me know what kind of reel you are using. I typically use the Akuma CLX 300L, and I keep my drag pretty tight. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the max drag weight is on those reels. But I have it spooled with 50-pound main line, and I keep the drag pretty tight, but it's still enough that I have that I can still pull the line out. But but I hope that answered your question. I set my drag pretty tight. So what subject do I teach? I teach senior government, personal finance, and I'll be teaching contemporary issues again this year. I've never gone noodling. I would love to do that sometime. That would be a great episode to do, and it takes a lot of guts. Where do you get goldfish? You can buy goldfish at your local bait shop. Here's the thing, though. You got to make sure goldfish is legal in your area, okay? You have to make sure you follow your state rules and regulations. So if you're using goldfish and it's illegal and you get caught, then you're paying a hefty fine, okay? So, like, you have to really know at first if it's legal to use in your state. So here in Virginia, we bought them at a local bait shop, and they had live goldfish, had tons of them, and they were legal, okay? And we used that as bait and had great success. So just depends on, David, to better answer your question, you really get them at a bait shop. Don't go to Walmart and buy them at like the pet store section, okay? I mean, you have to first, I mean, the goldfish that they sell at bait shops are bigger than the ones you will see like at a PetSmart, okay? So, make sure it's legal to use in your area. How do you know where to fish? Like I said, I really just kind of go with intuition. Like, I target, the geography on the bottom of the river. So I have a depth finder on my boat, and it has a GPS built in. So I look at the map and I can see, oh, wow, it's 20 feet here, but then it goes down to 45 feet. And then you have a drop off. And usually I'll just anchor right on the drop off or right in front of the drop off and cast my baits down into the deeper water. It's harder if you're a bank fisherman, though. If you're a bank fisherman, the best thing to do is to fish the mouth of a creek. If you have creeks in your area, fish along a riprap of some sort of like rocks. Fish below the dam. Okay, if you have dams in your area, go to the dam. The dam is a great way, great way to kind of start, getting your confidence in fishing, because there's a lot of fish at the dam. And once you kind of get your confidence going fishing at the dam, then you can kind of go out there and, be more adventurous and find new areas to fish. But I'm telling you, there is a web app you can look online. It's called Navionics web app. I even have a video on it on my channel where you can look at all the rivers in the United States of America, and they give you all the contour lines, okay, of your river. Well, it's most of the bigger rivers. Like the Schuylkill River in Philadelphia, I don't think they have the contour lines on that, but like the Tennessee River, Mississippi, even parts of the Dan River, like they have contour lines, and you can kind of see, like, they give you the elevation of how deep it is in certain parts of the river. So that's a great way to kind of like study maps and figuring out where the deepest spots are in your river. I hope that better answers your question. Let's see. I got to go back up here. Guys, I'm probably going to end this live stream in the next, we'll get like 20-25 minutes, I guess. So, have you ever used bullhead catfish for flathead fishing? No, I have not. That would be really cool to try, though. Use chicken liver. I've used chicken livers before. Are they good? Yeah, they're good. They can be a little hard to keep on the hook, but, they work. I mean, you'll get a lot of channel cats that way. What leader do I usually use? I use Andy's 80-pound monofilament line. That is my leader. I don't use steel leaders. I don't use wire leaders, even though in this past month's mystery tackle box, they did have like a wire leader in there, and I did use it, and we did catch a fish on it. But you don't really need to get that stuff, honestly. I think you'll be fine just using monofilament line. Don't use braided line as a leader. I just wouldn't go that route. Always use monofilament as a leader line. Where is a good place to cast them for shad below Chickamauga Dam? You can cast them from the blue railing, Tom. Just cast right, not behind the blue railing where the turbines are, but on the other side, You can usually get some there, but the water has to be kind of high a little bit for you to get some shad. If it's too low, then it may not work. You can also try below the railing near the concrete cement wall there. People are usually casting right where that railing is, so that would work. If that doesn't work, try the docks on the Tennessee River walk. I've caught in some pretty big gizzards, like 2 or 3 in one cast. So, okay. Endomitis fishing. The Shimano Charter Special. I have never used those reels. I know Mike Mitchell has used those reels. Sam Simons has used those reels. It's a little, those reels are a little different to use. So I really can't better answer your question on that. But like I said, the reels that I use are just, it's a level wind reel, and I have to thumb the spool and I, pull the lever down, and then I just cast it. And I have my drag set pretty tight, but like I said, enough to pull the line out. But those are good reels though. The Shimano Charter Specials. So that's awesome that you use them. Where do you catch those skipjack? Computer Graph 30, below the dam. Okay, Chickamauga, Nickajack, Gunnersville, Watts Bar Dam, they all have skipjack. Of course, Chickamauga could be really slow, but Nickajack could be really good. So it's kind of like you have to just listen to people, listen to the locals, ask around, saying, hey, are skipjack running below Watts Bar, or are they running below Nickajack? So what do you think about blacktip H and land-based shark fishing? I am subscribed to both of those guys. They do a great job. Really impressive to see blacktip H grow like he has been doing. So he's a very talented, skilled fisherman. And it'd be great to fish with him one day. So we'll see if that opportunity ever comes up. Let's see. What bait should I use if I'm fishing in a creek? Let's see. If you're fishing in a creek, I did a creek fishing episode. My last video was a creek fishing episode. I use night crawlers. And obviously there's bigger fish in there as well. But you can use night crawlers to kind of start out and kind of get your confidence going with catching fish that way. Then after that, you can just use minnows. Use a live minnow, that would work. You can even use a dead minnow. You can get shiners about, I don't know, this big or something like that. You can use it. I would use it live. That may do really well. And then you can try it dead. Maybe cut it in the itty bitty sections. And you can even use bluegill. That would work as well. So give that a shot. Any advice on fishing a rocky point? Fish in front of it. I don't really have a whole lot of fishing experience fishing near points as much. But if you're going to fish any sort of point, I would definitely fish in front of it and not so much behind it. Because usually in front, actually behind it, I mean, you may have a flathead kind of sitting behind a rocky point, since they're like the predator ambush fish. But I would try fishing in front of it first and see if that gives you any sort of success. And if not, try on the sides, try behind it. You may just have to kind of experiment a little bit and see what you can do. So if you have 3 or 4 rods, maybe have 2 rods in front, 2 rods on the side, and maybe 1 in the back, so maybe that would help you. Hope that answers your question. Have you ever fished Georgia? No, I have not. I have fished parts in Alabama, though, on Gunnersville, but nope, never in Georgia. RJ, summer's going well, man. Summer's going very good. Hope your summer's going well. Give me a shout out, Fishing RTV. There you go, buddy. I think he has a YouTube channel as well. Go check him out. Yeah, man, awesome. Keep the videos coming. If I use lures, what lures? I don't use lures to catch catfish. I do lure the fish in. No, kidding, guys. I don't know if you got the joke or not. But no, I really don't use lures to catch catfish. Everything is pretty much reel bait. If you were going to use a lure, I mean, people have had success using crappie jigs to catch flatheads, usually when they're on the spawn or something like that. But no, I don't use any lures. If I'm going for bass, going for lures, I like top water. Personal best channel, I think, is like 12 pounds. Flathead is 54 pounds, and the blue is 90. Let's see. What's the difference between minnows and shiners? That's a great question, Bailey. You know, they're all kind of like very, I think you put shiners, but that's all right. I think the difference, I mean, the shiner, they are kind of like a minnow. Now, I'm not an expert on, like, you know, the anatomy of a minnow or a shiner, but they're pretty much similar in the sense that, you know, they stay in schools. Okay, they're a bait fish. So, I really don't know if there clearly is a difference per se. I know shiners can be bigger than a typical minnow. I mean, minnows can get big too, but typically where I get minnows, like I have minnows in my creek, and they're actually shiners, like the common shiner. We have lots of those. So maybe the better answer to your question is to look it up online, because there's tons of different minnows out there and tons of different shiners, like the emerald shiner. And that may be a great question to ask Extreme Philly Fishing Leo. So maybe that would be good for him to ask. Let's see. How do you start a fish tank to put fish in? Oh, that's a great question. If you guys did not know, first let me say, Mason, I'm going to answer your question here in a second. But I did release the big flathead that I had in my tank downstairs. Well, it wasn't big. It was probably like 1.5 pounds, something like that. But he's released, and I have a small flathead in there right now. And maybe I'll do a video on that. But Mason, to go back to your question, how do you start a fish tank? First off, you have to put water in the tank, and then you have to I have a video out called 2 Essential Ingredients to kind of start up your tank and keep your tank kind of fresh. And there's 2 solutions you need to buy. So I hope you're listening. The first one is Prime. Prime is a product that takes out all the bad chemicals in the water that can hurt a fish, and it pretty much keeps the acidic level in your tank at a very good level. And then you may have to buy another ingredient or another product, like a startup tank product or something like that. You'll dump the entire bottle on there. Give it about a few days for your tank to kind of establish an environment, sort of say. And then to put a fish in, that's the tough thing, okay? So when you catch a fish, make sure it's small, not gigantic. If you have a fish around 1 pound, you want to have an aquarium over 100 gallons, okay? But you want to keep him like in a big Tupperware bin or something like that, or a big live well for a few days. And then what I would do is take the water from that bin or live well and put it into your aquarium, so you can kind of acclimate the fish to the aquarium when you put them in. So it's kind of like, you know, take the water from the bin, put it into your aquarium, and then also, you know, as time kind of goes by, just keep doing that, and then eventually put him in, and then hopefully he can acclimate as well. I mean, if you're going to do catfish are pretty resilient. Like they'll usually, you know, do okay surviving. But like I've had crappie before and bluegill, and crappie can be pretty sensitive. So you may have to just kind of slowly acclimate them to the new water, sort of say. But don't catch a fish right away and then just put them in a tank. Like don't do that at all. You'll shock the fish. The fish will stress out. They'll most likely get diseases. And that's another thing I want to say. When you have the fish in a separate kind of like quarantine bin or whatever, buy some antibiotics or some fish treated chemical thing in case the fish may have parasites or whatever on them, because you want to make sure the fish is all good of that and free from any illness or disease, skin infections, before you actually put them in your tank. Okay, that's actually a long answer for your question, but you know, hopefully that answers something of what you're looking for. Favorite species of catch? Noah, catfish. Have you fished in Pennsylvania? Yes. Schuylkill River, Philadelphia. I have a couple of videos out on that as well, so go check those out. Mason's Fishing, I did announce the winners. Look in the comment box. I commented the winners in the comments box a little bit ago, so let's see. Let's see here. How was my fishing experience with one rod, one reel? Is great. First the original plan was to fish with Extreme Philly Fishing, but then he wanted to bring one rod, one reel down, which he did, and that was fun. Great guys, had a great time together, cracked jokes on each other. So I got Mike Shaw. That's one rod, one reel. His name is Mike. Okay. And I got him on his personal best catfish. It was only like 25 pounds. I mean, that's not like a huge fish, but it's a decent fish. And I think Leo, Extreme Philly Fishing, his was like a 30-pound flathead. So that was pretty cool. But it was great fishing with him. Mike's a very skilled angler. He's very skilled fishing from the bank. And Leo, I mean, he's like your fish ID expert. I mean, he's really talented. He knows a lot of the rules and regulations. He's like your fish ID encyclopedia. So both very great guys to hang out with for sure. We may do another collaboration next year or something like that. So any recommendations for someone wanting to start a fishing YouTube channel? Just start putting out videos. Camera-wise, you can get a GoPro. There's cheaper stuff you can use as well. Like you can use your iPhone. Just make sure you have it mounted somewhere. Because the iPhone, like the iPhone 5, that's like 1080 and 30. It's 1080 30. So like it's 30 pixels, I guess, or something like that. And that's pretty good quality. So I would definitely do that. Just start putting out videos. And when you edit your videos, I'd use something free at first, like Windows Movie Maker or iMovie or something that should work just fine for you. So I use that for the longest time. Let's see. I should do more live streams. Yeah, I'd like to. That would be kind of cool. Would I rather catch a flathead or a blue? That just depends. See, I kind of go through spurts. There's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to catch a flathead. And there's times where it's like, no, I really want to catch a blue. So it just depends. But I would probably go with the flathead though if I had to really choose. Have you ever thought about coming to Buford Dam or Lake Lanier in Georgia? No, not really. I never heard of Buford Dam. But sure, I guess I can give it a try if an opportunity came up for me for sure. So Fisher Dam Pro, 30 frames per second. Thank you. It's late, guys. It's 10:30. I'm kind of wore out a little bit. So biggest bass ever caught, I think I answered that before. I think it's like 6 pounds, something like that. Let's see. How big of line do you have? Well, I typically, if I'm anchor fishing from my boat, like if I'm anchor fishing, I'm using 50-pound monofilament on my main line, and I have an 80-pound leader line. But you know, if you're going for catfish and you're fishing from the bank, I would go with like 20-pound line. Okay, just my personal opinion. Why 20-pound line? Because you can cast further. Okay, if you're using like big gear fishing from the bank, you better be in a pretty good area where you don't have to cast as far. Okay, but if you're fishing from the bank and it's a new area, you want to be able to get your bait in like different places. So I would go with like 20-pound line or something like that. I wouldn't go like extremely heavy. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. That's how I would target a new area if I were fishing from the bank. It's different if you're fishing from a boat. Okay, but great question. Ever thought about coming to Milford Lake? I have not until now. Sure, if like I said, if an opportunity ever came up, sure, why not? Would you ever do a tackle box review? Sure. I mean, why not? Yeah, I can do that. Just let me know what you would want me to do. Have you ever used crappie or bluegill as bait? Yes, I've used bluegill as bait plenty. Crappie, Not so much, no. But bluegill for sure. Alrighty. All right, guys, I'm going to take 2 more questions, and then I'm going to end this live stream because it's already 10:30. So I'll take 2 more questions. The newest comments I'll take. Let's see. How do you catch bullheads, and what's your on bullhead? Sand the shooter. I don't know what your second question is quite asking, but how do you catch bullheads? I'll be honest with you, that's an area that I've never really fished so much. I really don't fish for bullheads, but bullheads really exist more in creeks, and you can usually catch them there. And you can use night crawlers, minnows. I mean, so just fish a creek and see if you have some in there. Let's see. PB catfish is 90 pounds. What boat do I use? Bailey, great question. Okay. I use a G3 Gator boat. Is it 1754 DLX? I can't remember. It's kind of a new boat for me. I got it this past May. But it's a G3 Gator boat, 17 foot in length. It's an aluminum boat, 40 horsepower, 4-stroke motor on it. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions. Like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching. And like I said, for those of you who won the giveaway, you 3 guys, I will send you an email and kind of let you know when I'm going to send out the stuff, and you'll be good to go. So other than that, guys, I really appreciate you watching. All right, I got one more question. Mason's Fishing. Do you fish in brush piles for channels? Yes, that's a great place to fish for sure. Don't fish directly in the brush pile. Fish like in front of it. Okay, that may get some really good success for you. All right, and that's it, guys. I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in Thursday's episode with the Mish Tackle Box unboxing and 95% slam video. All right, good night, guys, and take care.